So this is an old 1970s stainless steel sink, and this tap's been changed many times since I've owned this house, and you can see this one is dripping, and you can also see that it's leaking at the base. And when I switch it on, it's actually spurting out water on the back of my hand, and just general condition of it looks awful. So you can see I've cleaned out the cupboard under the sink, and now I'm just going to set to cleaning it with stainless steel cleaner, and that to begin with seems to do okay. But then when I find these really stubborn limescale deposits, I decide to start using some 180 grit wet and dry. I need to undo that there, but first I need to isolate it. One, that's going to isolate. That's off. Okay, so that's now isolated. Now you can see all of them. The water comes in here, goes up here. This also goes down here as well. This comes in and goes up. So now all three are isolated. The routing of that is now much better. I need to undo these. These will loosen the pipes off. So using the appropriate spanner and some grips, those get loosened off. That allows me to bend those pipes apart, and I can now undo the retaining screw which holds it all together. And now I'm going to cut off one of these sections of pipe because it allows me to pull it out, because it's still got the nuts on the end of it and I can't get the olives off. That's a much easier way to get it out. And now I'm going to take care of all of the residual limescale that was left. And the easiest way to do that is for me to take a Bradler and literally just scratch it off. And I'm not really bothered about any marks that I leave, because I can go over it initially with some really rough wire wool, and then after that I just hit it again with the 180 wet and dry, and then basically polish it back to what it was before. And it's very successful. Now I'm taking the new tap and I'm going to fit these pipes in as per the instructions. So this is saying this is finger tight to do this up. See, that fits in there like that. Then we've got a picture here. This is the stuff that goes underneath, and then it's locked in position by screwing this up into this hole here, like so. And then underneath, it's got to be that, and then that goes on the bottom of it. So let's do that. And it's a 12mm. So you don't have to do this up too tight, just tight enough to be able to hold it. Then after that, I decided to wrap a little bit of PTFE tape around here. Now, anybody that's a plumber watching this will be appalled at how badly I put the PTFE tape round, but in the end it worked and there was no leaks. So I would recommend you use some and then tighten those up with the appropriate size spanner, and that should really make sure the job is dry. After that, I just wipe it down with a towel just to make sure it's completely dry, and then when I turn the system back on again I can feel for any leaks, but so far so good. Okay, so now I can afford to turn everything back on again. That actually is supplying water that goes to the dishwasher next to it, and there's the main coal tap that I'm just switching on at the bottom. Now I'm just checking to see again if everything's dry, and it is. And now I can actually try the tap itself. just going to check that is cold. That's a much better flow than I had before. And that should be, in theory, that should be hot. And it is. 180 grip. I was so impressed by the results from the wet and dry that I decided to go over the entire sink really with the 180, and it just made it look like it was completely brand new again, and it was much less effort. Time to restock under the sink, having given it a good clean and taken out all those revolting sticky stains and what have you. And that is the finished job, and it looks wonderful. Quick reminder of what we started with and ultimately what we ended up with. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope it gave you the confidence to try and change your own tap and save yourself the expense of calling out a plumber. If you like to visit my channel, this will give you an idea of some of the things that you'll see. So it's mostly DIY and a lot of woodwork in there, but there's also some creative stuff and a bit of artwork. But generally speaking, it's all easy watching. So please consider subscribing.